Hey there, Improv Tipsters. Welcome back to Improv Tips, where I and some of the best improvisers in the world give you improv tips and advice to make you a better, more confident, and happier improviser wherever you are in your improv journey. I am, as always, your host, Paul Vaillancourt. Let's begin. So lately, I've been working with a really great duo, Bianchi and Bylan, and in working with them, I have really focused down on the idea of the two-person scene. Obviously, and I've really focused on the two-person scene and how does it work in a duo and how does it work for everyone in any kind of show, really, right? So I'm going to give some tips today that are really pointed at duos, but really are for everyone. So as I say duo, or duo show, you know that I'm really talking about you, whatever kind of show you do. Even if it's a solo show or it's an 8, 10, 12 person ensemble show, I'm talking to you because these physics and these ideas all apply, okay? So the three tips that I want to give today are variety, clarity, and world. Variety, clarity, and world, okay? But before we get to those tips, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel so you get the improv tips as they come out, right? You're not waiting like, what? I didn't get that one. Yeah, you did. You subscribed, so it's in your inbox waiting for you. Two, if you like today's video, please consider giving it a like and commenting down below. I'd love to have an influx of ideas. What do you do to amp up your two-person scenes? What do you do to really blow out your duo show? Let's make this a resource for everybody who comes along and they can see not only what I have to say, but also what you have to say. That's some of the most fascinating stuff, I think. All right. So with all that out of the way, let's get down to the three tips: variety, clarity, and world. Variety, especially in a duo show, as we move from scene to scene, we really want to see variety because we're just watching these same two people for 25 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour, however much time you have. And what really keeps us interested is the variety. What are they going to do? What's next? Oh my gosh, look at all the different characters they're playing, right? So that's part of the thing of a duo show or any show really is that variety. Right? So as we move from one scene to the next, we don't want every scene to be high energy. We don't want every scene to be low energy, or every scene to be in an office, or every scene to be in a park. We want to switch it up, right? And that switch, that twist from one scene to the next really keeps our interest and really energizes the scene. Every time there's a new energy into the scene, whether it's an up energy or a down energy, more or less than the scene before, it really energizes the piece, right? So we're super high energy in one scene, and the next one we're really pulled in. And really low energy, or really sort of concentrated energy. That, even though it's a lower energy, it energizes the piece because that variety like stokes the engine a little bit, okay? So what's a great technique that can help us making that variety change? Because when we're in a scene and I'm in with my partner, right? We're in a duo and it's just you and me and we're just sort of really connecting. But still a little part of me has to be thinking about what's in that next scene, right? Not a ton because I'm really in this moment, but there's that little spark, that little moment when you know it's time to edit, right? So the first thing you do into that next scene, that first move you make, that first line you say, I think should be a big choice, right? I did this video, ding ding, about the power of big choices and how a big choice draws you along into the scene, right? If we're going to sort of edit and then start from zero and kind of try to ramp it up, you're wasting a lot of time, bleeding out a lot of energy. You just want to make a big choice and snap into that next scene, right? And you will discover it. That's improv, man. You're going to discover it. You don't need to have all the solutions before you start that next scene. In fact, you're going to be better off if you don't have all the solutions. You just need one little kernel, one little moment, a little voice, a little tick of your body, something, and then commit to that big. Make a big choice to get after that thing. And that's really going to draw you along. And then you improvise and you figure it out as you go. And that's why we're here, right? As I've said many times before, quoting Dave Rosowski, the product is the process. They want to watch us figure it out. It is our journey. It is our job to go on that journey of figuring it out while they watch. They don't want to see it all figured out. They don't want to see us solve the scene on the sideline and then bring it in, right? So variety, switching it up. What sorts of different variety can we have? Variety of characters, right? If we have some really big characters in one scene, maybe the next scene we have smaller characters. And if in one scene I played a big character and you played a smaller character, then we should maybe switch in the next, if we have that same dynamic again of a big character, small character, switch so that we're not playing the same, that each of us individually as well as a pair are not playing the same kinds of characters over and over. Two, world. Where are we? Like, where are we in, what's our location, right? It's a variety of location, variety of time of day, variety of energy. So character, where, energy, and time of day. All of these things we can switch up, and all of these things add energy into the piece. Two, clarity. Right? As we're moving from scene to scene, as we're making these big choices, we need to have some clarity. Clarity of character is one of the main things that I would love to see, right? I did this whole ding ding playlist about character, how to generate characters, how to make clear, fun, interesting characters, right? I think all that's going to help. And as we sort of make those big choices and make those big characters, that will draw us along through the scene. But it's got to be clear. One of the things that really, as an audience member, makes me cringe is when I'm watching two people on stage and they're not sure, am I that guy from before? Am I the ice cream man or am I your dad now? And that whole sort of like dance of that really makes me, as an audience member, super nervous. And what's going to help that is that if each of those characters is super clear, right? If they have some sort of point of view or physical or vocal cue that lets us know this is the character that I am now. This is the character that I am now. And if you do a show where you switch characters, right? Like I did this show, Ding Ding, Pete and Paul Explain It All, which is a duo show, and we switched characters. We took on each other's characters. So those characters needed to be really clear so the audience could tell, oh, Pete's playing this character now, but now Paul's playing this same character at a different point in time, right? So we really need to make those really clear. So we tried to make some big choices about that. I think it really makes a big difference, right? Also, clarity of where. We can tag on or we can sort of like, use the characters as a cue of who we are or where we are, but then also the location itself really helps, right? Where are we? Is this a location that we recognize from place to place? Think about Friends. When they go into Central Perk, you're like, oh, right, I know this place. Or when they go into one of the apartments, like, oh, right, I know this place. And then it cues you in to kind of who might be there, what might be happening. Are we coming back to a scene that we started earlier and this is a callback? Clarity, right? Clarity. Also, clarity of transitions. In a duo show especially, that clarity, since the two people basically don't ever leave stage most of the time, we really need to be clear. Boom, we're switching now. Boom, we're switching to this. Again, that goes back to big choices that I said earlier. The third, so we've had variety and clarity. The third is world, right? Is world. I would love to see scenes in general set in worlds. Right? A lot of times when I'm watching a two-person scene, whether it's with a duo or a 10-person ensemble, I feel like each two-person scene is just in a little capsule. That these two people have sort of run away from everyone else and they're in a corner somewhere just having this little conversation. What's more interesting is that they're having this conversation in a world that is existing and going on. Right? There's this playlist of videos all about location, all about world. I think that's all going to play into it, right? But when I'm talking about the world, I'm talking about the location, like I just said, but I'm also talking about the energy. What is the energy of what's going on? If we're two high schoolers and we're talking about the prom, which is a scene that Bianchi and Byron did the other day, we are two high schoolers talking about prom. Are we out in the field somewhere away from everyone? Or is it more interesting, more exciting if we're in school next to our lockers as in a passing period where everyone's moving around us, right? That energy, if we have that energy in our scene, it amps us up in a certain way because we have some stakes around us, right? People are watching this interaction. People are saying, is she, isn't she, will he, won't he, right? And so there's that energy around it. Are we just the two of us in our lockers where everyone else is in class, or is it a passing period? Everyone's going, I'm about to ask this girl out and I'm talking to her and I'm like, so, hey, yeah, guys, I'll see you at practice, okay? Yeah, you bring your pads. I'm not lending you my pads again, okay? So, will you go to prom, right? So there's like this energy to it where we're alive in the where. Is there a teacher off stage like tapping their watch telling us it's time to get to class? These don't have to be call-ons, right? Especially in a duo show, it's not going to be. But they don't have to be call-ons. Other characters don't have to come in, but we exist in the wash of that energy from around us, right? One of the things that helps us with that is populating the world, right? One of my favorite scenes in a movie is in Old School, Will Ferrell is talking to one of the other guys, I think it may be Luke Wilson, and he's going to fix his car, and just out of the blue, he's like, hey, Mike, to some guy off camera. They don't cut to him, but we just know, oh my gosh, this interaction now is taking place in front of all the people in his neighborhood. They all are sort of part of this now, right? So it's all happening. And that lends a certain excitement to it, right? By also playing this idea, we use a really powerful dynamic called public versus private. Public versus private, right? And that is where we are sort of existing simultaneously in two spaces, a public space and a private space. Think about this. When two people go to break up, right? They go to a restaurant oftentimes because you sort of are hoping that social pressure of that private area of your table will not spill over into the public area of the restaurant, right? So there's like a little tension there, a really exciting tension where we're talking about why it's not going to work out and I think we should break up and maybe it's getting a little heated between us. Then the waitress shows up, wanting to know if we have breadsticks. we both turned to her and we're nice to her because this has nothing to do with her, right? So we're really, yeah, you know what? I think I would like some breadsticks. Thank you very much. And can I get some water too? Thanks. It's just not working out. I don't know what to tell, right? So we have that tension flipping back and forth, right? And we're on stage. We're about to give a graduation speech, and I'm sort of like talking to the principal who I've always hated, right? But I'm getting ready to make this speech. There's like a private space and a public space. This really adds a really great tension and dynamic to scenes, right? That sort of energy. Another thing that really helps world is time of day. Craig Kukowski, I'll shout him out on this, does this really great exercise called 3 a.m. scenes where people are doing scenes at 3 a.m. Why are you up at 3 a.m.? Why is he at 3 a.m.? How is that different? How does that influence? Are we quieter? Are we louder? Are we partying? Are we just woken up out of a dead sleep? But that applies to all the different times of the day. So many times scenes are like noon, 30. Whoa, that's a switch, right? But let's go back to the two kids talking about prom. What if that's like just as school's letting out? Is that a different energy? What if it's just before school starts, right? People are getting ready for the day, right? What sorts of things, how does that energize the scene, right? So think about time of day, people around you, the context, right? The location, the time of day, all of these things figure into it to make it a three-dimensional world. If there was like one big push that I would make to improvisers of all stripes everywhere is try to take your work from being two-dimensional to three-dimensional. Two-dimensional to three-dimensional. And this idea of world and sort of filling it out in all these different dimensions really, to me, is a big step in that direction. If you're in a duo show, I think it is essential. If you're in an ensemble show, I think some of this takes care of itself, but I think if we have an eye towards it, we can really turn the dial all the way up on that and make that show great in all realms. Okay? So that's the tips for today. Variety, clarity, and world. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and I will see you next week.